Saving money is almost universally praised. It is taught as a sign of discipline, intelligence, and responsibility. From childhood, people are told that saving protects them from emergencies, reduces stress, and leads to long-term security. On an individual level, this advice is mostly correct. Saving gives people options and independence. But when saving becomes excessive across an entire economy, something counterintuitive happens. Growth slows, opportunities shrink, and financial pressure increases instead of disappearing. Welcome to Fiscal Signal, where we explain how money systems actually work beneath the surface. Today, we're exploring a truth that feels uncomfortable but deeply important: why saving too much money can secretly hurt everyone. This is not an argument against personal responsibility or financial planning. It is about scale. What works for one household does not always work when millions of households behave the same way at the same time. Saving increases when fear replaces confidence. People don't suddenly start saving more because they become wiser overnight. They save more because uncertainty rises. When prices increase, jobs feel unstable, news turns negative, or the future feels unpredictable, people respond by pulling back. Spending feels risky. Holding cash feels safe. From an individual perspective, this behavior is logical. Saving creates a buffer. It reduces reliance on debt. It provides emotional comfort during uncertain times. But when fear spreads across society, the same defensive behavior becomes contagious. As confidence falls, saving rises. As saving rises, spending falls. And that shift begins to slow the entire economic system. Spending is not careless. It is how income exists. At a system level, spending is not wasteful behavior. It is how income is created and distributed. One person's spending becomes another person's paycheck. Business revenue funds wages. Wages fund rent, groceries, and services. The cycle continues only if money keeps moving. When people collectively decide to save more and spend less, that cycle weakens. Businesses sell fewer products. Revenue declines. Hiring freezes begin. Investments are delayed. Eventually, layoffs follow. The paradox is that the very act meant to protect people financially ends up reducing the income that makes saving possible in the first place. The paradox of thrift and self-reinforcing slowdowns. This dynamic is known as the paradox of thrift. Individually, saving is responsible. Collectively, excessive saving is destructive. When everyone tries to protect themselves at the same time, the economy contracts. What makes this dangerous is that the process feeds on itself. Lower spending reduces income. Lower income increases fear. Increased fear leads to even more saving. The slowdown accelerates without any single person intending harm. By the time the effects are visible in unemployment numbers or business closures, the cycle is already deeply entrenched. Money that stops moving stops creating value. Money has no power when it sits still. Its value comes from circulation. It funds production, wages, services, and innovation only when it flows through the economy. Excessive saving pulls money out of circulation. Cash accumulates in bank accounts instead of funding activity. Normally, banks recycle savings into loans and investments, but during uncertain times, lending tightens. Businesses become cautious. Credit demand weakens. The result is trapped money. The economy doesn't suffer because money disappears. It suffers because money stops working. Excess saving makes debt more dangerous. One of the least understood effects of excessive saving is what it does to debt. When spending slows, incomes slow. When incomes slow, existing debt becomes harder to manage. Loans that were affordable during growth become burdensome during stagnation. Businesses struggle to service obligations. Households fall behind on payments. Defaults begin to rise. Debt is manageable in a growing economy. It becomes fragile in a shrinking one. Excessive saving slows growth and turns debt into a destabilizing force rather than a tool. Governments step in when private spending disappears. When households and businesses pull back simultaneously, governments often become the spender of last resort. Public spending, stimulus programs, and deficit financing are used to replace missing private demand. This is why government debt tends to rise during periods of heavy saving. Public spending fills the gap left by cautious consumers and businesses. Without it, economic contraction would be far more severe. Ironically, people often criticize government borrowing while unknowingly contributing to the conditions that make it necessary. The pain is not shared equally. Excessive saving does not harm everyone equally. Those with stable incomes, large savings, and asset ownership can afford to wait. Small businesses, hourly workers, and low-margin industries cannot. When demand falls, vulnerable sectors break first. Job losses spread. Income inequality widens. Those who saved for safety find themselves living in a weaker, more fragile economy. The system amplifies caution into inequality. This is not a case against saving, but against extremes. The lesson is not that saving is bad. The lesson is that balance matters. Healthy economies require both saving and spending. Saving provides stability. Spending provides momentum. Problems arise when fear pushes saving far beyond productive levels. At that point, the system begins weakening itself. What feels like safety becomes stagnation. Personal logic and systemic outcomes are not always aligned. Why this cycle keeps happening again and again? This pattern repeats because it is rooted in human psychology. Fear spreads faster than confidence. When uncertainty rises, people retreat. When everyone retreats together, economic activity contracts. Without intervention, the cycle reinforces itself. Lower spending reduces income. Reduced income increases fear. Fear increases saving. The loop tightens. Understanding this cycle is the first step toward breaking it. What this means for you personally, this does not mean spending recklessly or abandoning financial discipline. It means understanding context. Saving is essential, but hoarding cash during widespread slowdowns contributes to the very instability people fear. Financial literacy is not just about protecting yourself. It is about understanding the system you participate in every day. Awareness allows balance instead of panic. Final thoughts from Fiscal Signal. Saving money is wise, but when everyone saves too much at the same time, the economy weakens instead of strengthening. Money stops moving. Demand disappears. Jobs vanish. Fear feeds on itself. If you want clear, honest explanations of how money systems really work beneath the surface, this is exactly why Fiscal Signal exists. Subscribe to the channel, stay informed, and give yourself the rare advantage of understanding how individual decisions shape the system we all depend on.